Hello and welcome again. In the previous session, we started discussing on mission, vision and entrepreneurial qualities, and we will continue with the discussion today. Besides whatever we discussed, entrepreneurs have an internal locus of control, which means that they believe that they can control, they can create their own future, meaning that they have a vision and they can manifest that through their actions. They don't believe that there will be some some forces beyond their control which will write their future. So they can write their own future. That's what they believe, and they work that way. So they can always excel in their work. They don't blame their fate for misfortune or any outside forces that they don't believe that is manifesting whatever is happening. They may be spiritual. It doesn't mean that they don't believe in God altogether. They may be spiritual, but then their thoughts on future are similar to those of agnostic. Agnostics are the people who are neutral about existence of God or supernatural forces or whatever that is, but entrepreneurs believe that their future is in their hands, so they can create what they want to be. That's it. People with external locus of control believe that everything that is happening around them are controlled by some forces that is beyond their control, and whatever is there in destiny, they kind of is not in their hand. Whereas entrepreneurs create their own destiny. That is their philosophy. Prior entrepreneurial exposure. This is important. If somebody has some experience of any kind where there are kind of requirement of a well established plan, and then execute the plan, or things that maybe it will be kind of afflicted with uncertainties, and then eventually they handle them and become kind of experienced of handling all uncertainties. That kinds of help. So maybe work experience in a startup. So they walk the path, or they kind of on the knowledge or learning curve, they kind of become matured through whatever problem, and when they themselves start up, so they face the similar kind of uncertainties. Close association with a business of friends, of a family, or say corporate entrepreneurship. Suppose you are part of any, you have been working somewhere and you participated in a corporate entrepreneurship. We have explained that earlier. So that also gives you some kind of exposure that is highly essential for successfully running a business. Or at the very least, you may be a profit center head in a traditional company, or some experience of managing event where there are uncertainties, where there are risks, and then eventually you try to alleviate all those risks and uncertainties, and you try to emerge as a winner. All these actually makes you kind of knowledgeable about possible uncertainties, possible risk, and the implication of certain actions. You know the risk, you know the uncertainty, you also know if I take this kind of an action, then what is the outcome, whether that is going to solve it or not. So that makes a huge value addition for entrepreneur. I have some bit of a text from Donald Rumsfeld, who was at some point of time American Defense Secretary. He said something very interesting, and this is very relevant in this context. He said there are known knowns, which means that we know that there are many things that is going to go wrong maybe. So we know there are some things. Then there are known unknowns, that we know that we do not know some of the things that may kind of come up, that these are the things which we do not know. There are known unknowns, means unknowns, but we know that these are the things that may go wrong, meaning outcome may go wrong. So when you work somewhere, your basket of these items that are known knowns, that you become aware that okay, these are the actions that entrepreneurs take and these are the outcomes. and there are known unknowns. That means there are uncertainties, but then to handle those you know what are the uncertainties and what actions normally people take, but then without certain results or without knowing the actual outcome. But then if you do not work there, that is the last part, there will be a huge basket of unknown unknowns, meaning there will be too many things that nobody knows and you also do not know, like these are all unknown unknowns. But if you have experience, these part shrinks, the other parts enlarge. So, there will be more known knowns, more known unknowns and less unknown unknowns, very important. Then they have a burning desire for learning. This can never be overemphasized. We have seen that in case of Dhirubhai Ambani, he was a knowledge seeker to the core. He always tried to acquire knowledge, he always tried to study. Then there are means any entrepreneur you name, chances are very high that they are avid readers. Bill Gates is an avid reader. Talk of Elon Musk, he read so much that at some point of time he was reading in a library and the entire library was read. Then he started reading encyclopedia. I am not manufacturing it, there are references for this. So, business operations requires various kinds of knowledge. So, you have to keep on learning, reading and then become expert, otherwise there will be too much unknown unknowns, too many. It may not be possible to be best in everything, but then having some knowledge actually help. So, you can take actions in advance, means you have better clarity about things that are going to happen or you come across. So, successful entrepreneurs have constant passion for learning, goes without saying. Obviously, knowledge is pivotal for managing business and identifying opportunities. They understand the value of a strong peer networks. This is also very important, and that is why lone geniuses do not become successful. In a competitive world, gaining success alone is a near impossible task unless you are overly lucky or maybe you hit upon an idea that solves a problem and nobody has that, something like that. Perhaps without that, even with that also, if you are connected with a lot of people, some hand holding, some troubleshooting done by others will make the path more smoother. Like contact with business partners, financial partners, strategic resources, technology partners, peer entrepreneurs, investors, community, etc., etc. These are invaluable. For example, you want to raise early round of fund from say angel, just some kind of seed capital, not early round, but seed capital. Now, you make a cold call, either a telephone call or you send a mail from a list of angels, chances are very high that nobody will respond, because they do not really trust unknown information like cold calls. Compared to this, you just talk to a peer entrepreneur, may not be a very successful one, but he or she or they might have raised some money from somewhere. So, they are known to this investing community. Chances are very high, not only that they will respond, they will have a positive disposition about you because of the reference. So, and then when people start with positive disposition, the outcome is almost always positive. So, you get a good hearing and then eventually it is a win-win. Just a single sentence by them that this is being forwarded, we forward so and so's proposal and we kind of whatever they say. They do not have to really say big. At early stage, a technology startup, one of the best asset is peer network with startup engaged in similar activities. Suppose you are developing Android application. Now, maybe you are stuck somewhere. You may take months to get over that, whereas if you are connected to peer companies, you just telephone and say that I have this problem, or over a cup of tea, and you discuss this problem, sorted in minutes. You don't have to really wait for months, and time is of the essence, meaning that if you can do something now, it is so much better than doing something tomorrow. So, peer network actually, particularly there may be so much of problem like troubleshooting, like facilitating and just a simple information where to approach for this. You can have a whole lot of people connected. Somebody will say do it like this or go to so and so, things will be done. We'll curtail time, will curtail resources, investment of resources, cost, everything. There is a saying that you are as good a leader as the people you keep company, meaning that your whole circle actually defines what kind of a people you are, because you constantly try to emulate the people with which you kind of associate, you move around, you keep company. So, eventually you inculcate from them, also you contribute. It is very important. They try to remain surrounded by great people, same continuation of the same thing almost. So, there is another saying that entrepreneurs surround themselves with great people, and they become great in the process, meaning one can constantly evolve stronger if they are surrounded by great people. Your many limitations will get kind of eroded, dwarfed or eliminated altogether gradually moving forward, because we are enormously capable. But if we do not know what is the capability of human being, we will remain complacent. Suppose there can be any kind of example. Suppose you watch somebody typing at a very high speed, you will have a tendency to copy them, and then gradually your speed will go up. But if you do not look around and just do your best, then there will be a limitation. It is true about many things. If you see that people are thinking out of the box in a big way, you also start thinking. It's kind of a habit and kinds of an inspiration, and then you can push your boundary. You think that this is your boundary, but then when you see that other people's boundary is larger, that their kind of domain is larger, you start pushing and then you achieve better. People with positive thinking and superior performance would inspire you to be so. So, that is very important. You will push your boundary and achieve greater success. I just mentioned, they are tenacious, they never get tired. So, they are always they have strength to persevere even under adversities. The tough competitive atmosphere in business demands unyielding, strong-willed and unfearful leaders. So, should be continuously, tenaciously persevering. These leaders meticulously plan ahead, then adjust themselves quickly to changing scenarios, adapt to market responses. Business at times has very high highs, meaning you achieve something suddenly very high, and there may be very low lows, suddenly you go down. But then managing high highs, managing low lows, both demand expertise, tenacity, perseverance, all. So, otherwise you won't be able to protect your organization against these ups and downs. Suddenly growth happens so much, unless you are smart enough to keep this going, you may actually, it may be even fatal at some point of time. Means as it may happen for low lows. They are tolerant to ambiguity, meaning that if things go wrong or things go the way they did not anticipated, they are okay with that, they are prepared for failure in that sense, and then they can make a course correction and then move forward. They set their goals, they are committed, convicted to reach that goal. They also inspire others to follow them, but they should be open to unexpected developments and information and make mid-course corrections that mitigates adversities or better exploits, help them to exploit the advantages better. They are ready to face challenges as it happens in the face of great uncertainty, and they are tolerant for ambiguity, and that sets an successful entrepreneurs apart from the failed ones. They are at readiness to accept failure as an option. It's almost like a continuation, and learn from every failure. They acknowledge mistakes, why they failed, and learn from them. There is a saying that you will see moving forward. There is a concept called fail forward and fail backward. Fail forward means you fail and then you analyze why you failed. So, you become expert, you become knowledgeable that these are the actions that I took which are mistakes, which should not be taken. So, you become a learned person, you start over, and then you do not commit the same mistakes again, but you may commit more mistakes which you do not know. There are known unknowns or even unknown unknowns. So, again you may fail, again you will learn and move forward. Someday you will definitely succeed. This is called fail forward, learning from failure and moving forward. Fail backward is failing and becoming depressed, that oh my God, I am gone. So, this is not desirable, and people who do that, they are not entrepreneurial, means that is not part of entrepreneurial qualities. Entrepreneurs are often successful because they tend to comprehend the best possible course of action to get over the worst scenario, that they learn through failure, but then they fight back. They are mindful that things may not always manifest the best of ways, and they are ready to accept failure. They take lessons from failure to become stronger, smarter and invincible, meaning the same mistake will not happen and same uncertainty will not bog them. They do not sit back ruminating, what if this happens, that happens, what do? I won't be able to survive, something like that. Almost all successful entrepreneurs mature through learning from failures and mistakes. There is hardly any entrepreneur or successful entrepreneur who did not face failure, who never faced failure. Success comes through failure only, and you read about any successful entrepreneur, you will be amazed to say the kind of background they hailed from and kind of failures they faced. Many will not be able to stand even half the failures. They are not entrepreneurial. You should read about Abraham Lincoln. We will discuss that at some point of time if time permits. Ability to sail, very important. Mark Cuban, you can see him in Shark Tank, repeatedly emphasizes that knowing how to sail is an absolutely essential part of being a successful business owner. How to sell, how to know how to sell, meaning you should be able to influence your customer. You should be able to tell a story of your own, where you come from, how the product is. You should be able to connect the story of the buyer, connect them together, and then you will be able to sell. So, it is all about influencing, but then you have to be convinced yourselves. You make a commitment, keep the commitment. You have to be convicted to keep the commitment, and you have to be convinced that you are offering the best of product or you are offering value for money. Only then you will be able to convince your customer, because you have to know the customer's pain. So, you have to be prepared for that. How to influence your customer, your capacity to influence or persuade others, not just others, it should be customers. This ability does not come automatically, it is a basket of things. So, it is an outgrowth of some fundamental attributes in people. They only can sell, they only can achieve, means they should be kind of a charismatic people, meaning that whenever they are talking to somebody, they should have the best interest in mind, they should be real people, etc., that we discussed in the previous session. These persons are capable to influence others because they are first able to influence and persuade themselves that I am doing the right thing, that this is the right product for these people. Only then you will have all the logics coming in your mind and you will be able to convince. If you are unable to, or unwilling to keep your own commitment that you make to yourselves, you won't easily persuade others and you won't be able to sell. They are frugal in their approach. It's very important. Every entrepreneur can make a buck go a long way, whereas those who are not entrepreneur, or if anybody is not thrifty enough, is not frugal enough, is not following the lean philosophy, we will discuss about the lean philosophy later, they won't be successful. In a world where everybody is trying to be frugal, thrifty, their cost structure is going to be more lean and slim compared to others. So, when you are in the same marketplace, if you are not frugal, you won't be able to compete with them because their cost is low, they will sell at a low price and they will maintain quality at a low price and you are gone. So, you have to be frugal to become successful entrepreneur. So, they recognize that there is always a lean way of doing things. So, there is no best way of doing things, there is always a leaner way of doing things. Should have been corrected, there is always a leaner way of doing things. Frugality leads to faster execution, better economy, lesser risk, higher success possibility, higher financial upside. Obviously, they are reasonably passionate, highly passionate, but then they know when to pivot and not driven by emotion that this is my baby and I must see that this is successful. They will never do that. They are passionate, they will do whatever it comes. Maybe they will work 24/7 to see that whatever they are pursuing, they see that it succeed. But then they have an eye to foresee that this is not going to take them anywhere. At some point of time, they will see that we are going to hit a wall moving forward. So, there is no point wasting this time till we hit the wall and then resources. Rather than doing that, they will pivot and do something else or change course, meaning they will work with the same product, but they will change feature or they will introduce new technology or something and then move forward. So, they are circumspective, meaning that they have a 360-degree view about the challenges around them, opportunities around them, and then they will take action. They will course correct. They will act with determination and work passionately to achieve the goal. They continuously make assessment and have the capability to see the possible failure early on and then pivot instead of persisting emotionally. Jack Ma was rejected in 30 job applications and many college admissions. Now, this is an example that I should have mentioned in the previous session, that many people become entrepreneur when they don't get anything else. So, Ma did not get a suitable job anywhere. He became an entrepreneur and now you see it is a $300 billion company that he has set up in 20 years. That is wonderful. They are self-motivated, meaning that they know that opportunities will not seek out them. They have to seek out opportunities. They have to go out to the marketplace, then know people's pain and then come up with solutions. Only then it is possible to be able to identify wonderful opportunities and then make wonderful solutions, things like that. They do not wait for opportunity to hit their door. They go out, they work tirelessly to evolve solutions to problems that confront them or confront the society. They adopt to changes and carry their teams along, motivate them towards new goals and opportunities. The vision of successful entrepreneurs are more complete and not related to individual tasks, and they aim to make dent on the universe. That should be the power of a vision, big vision. They are system thinker. It's a new term for many of you. Systems thinking is thinking of an event with the whole in mind, meaning that suppose you take an action, and that action is a small subsystem of a mega system, and a mega system have many components. So, your action may influence many actions around you, and that is the whole system. So, you before taking any action, you have to think how this action is going to implicate or influence other elements of the system, whether it is going to make an imbalance. Only then your action, or you will be fine tuning your action so as to create a positive implication around you. Without a systems thinking, you will be prone to make an action that will bounce back with negative force. Say, ecosystem is a wonderful example of a systems approach, meaning in an ecosystem you do something and that causes imbalance in the whole ecosystem, one element of the ecosystem, the entire ecosystem gets disturbed. Suppose there is a water body somewhere, you close the water body to create a piece of land, then animal come there to drink water, they may die, and then animal perhaps is in the food chain of other system. So, you have so much of adversities that you can create with single action. Entrepreneurs are system thinker, meaning that whatever action they take, they think around them a 360-degree view and the whole system. This is just a component, like a business is a system consisting of many small components, and the business itself is a component of a mega system. Likewise, the universe is a system. So, we are all part of a larger system that is part of a larger system. So, we have to think all about it, like say import export. Suppose you are selling something or manufacturing something. Now, you must have an eye on the foreign exchange implication, and then how Indian foreign exchange is going moving forward. Suppose potentially the petroleum prices are going down, so maybe our foreign exchange position will be better, and then rupee get stronger, and then you have something like some export potential business, but when rupee gets stronger, your potential goes down. So, unless you have an eye for that, this macroeconomic situation, you won't survive. Your business will fail at some point of time. This is very important. That is why this understanding the whole system and the component and their interaction with the whole system is very important. Let us move forward fast. A few more important traits, just a few more I did not like to elaborate. They are independent and would do whatever it takes to succeed. They are the best spokesperson and promoter of their business, because they know ins and outs of the pain of the customer, they know the characteristic features of the product or services that they provide and how it kind of alleviate the pains. So, they are the right spokesperson for the company, the right salesperson of the company, they are promoter of the company, they are relationship builders. So, they create the network, they have high social intelligence. We will discuss about viral marketing. So, for the time being, understand that entrepreneurs have high social intelligence and an ability to build relationship and aid their firm's growth through that. They have a strong determination and battle their way through difficult obstacles. They take calculated risk, and then they have good instinct when it comes to opportunity identification and understanding the risk return perspective. They identify opportunities that are seemingly risky and achieve superior returns. Big rewards are associated with big risk. I have been overemphasizing this point again and again. They are circumspective, meaning that they have a 360-degree view. They understand their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threat, and how they are positioned with the changing macro situation. So, continuously they have a 360-degree view all the time and then assess them. Some more points. They are disciplined and always set priorities. Their overarching strategies help them to reach the goal they set. They are self-starter. Every successful entrepreneurs are fully conscious of the fact that if someone or something has to be initiated, it needs to be done by themselves. It will not, nobody else is going to prompt them or nobody else is going to do that for them. So, aspiring entrepreneurs need to adopt these traits and make them a part of their personality to achieve success. Here are some references. I just make a pause here for you to see, and then some concluding remarks. Expert entrepreneurs have dreams. They are confident and optimistic to manifest them. They are disciplined. They are self-starters. They are patient and they persevere. They are open to new ideas. Those cross their path, means they immediately grasp the opportunity. Success of a venture critically depends on many factors, and entrepreneurial qualities are pivotal among them. It is important to note that many of these traits can be learned. The founding team, this is very important, that everybody will not have all these qualities, but you can create a balanced team and every member may bring in some complementary traits or skills, capabilities. That should be good. So, thank you very much.